And the LA Dodgers still face scathing criticism from their flip-flop on having queer and drag activists dressed as nuns at their Pride Night celebration later this month. Next, what some actual nuns have to say about all this. The Los Angeles Dodgers are facing criticism after flip-flopping twice on their invitation to a drag group for the team's upcoming Pride event. The Dodgers initially intended to honor the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a charity drag group whose members dress as nuns and use other Catholic imagery in its aesthetics. But after a wave of conservative backlash, the Dodgers removed the group from their list of honorees. The decision to rescind the invitation prompted a fresh round of criticism, this time from LGBTQ advocates, fans, and allies. And then, about 2 weeks ago, the Dodgers reversed course yet again. In a statement, the team apologized to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and extended a new invitation to the group. The sisters accepted and confirmed they will now accept the Community Hero Award from the Dodgers. But not everyone is on board with this decision. Star pitcher Clayton Kershaw told the Los Angeles Times, "I don't agree with making fun of other people's religion." And in a tweet, former Vice President Mike Pence said the Dodgers' decision is, quote, deeply offensive and called the drag group hateful. Here with me to discuss this is Heidi Schlumpf. She is a columnist with the National Catholic Reporter. Heidi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Paula.
Some conservatives are calling this an attack on religion, but you spoke with some actual Catholic sisters. What did they have to say about all this?
Yes, it was interesting to speak with them and to see the evolution of this controversy, because the early critics of the Dodgers and the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence were saying this was offensive to Catholic sisters because the group wore habits, and they said they were actually defending sisters. But when I shared on social media some comments from an actual Catholic sister, they started spewing hate at her because she works in LGBTQ ministry. So it seemed to me that the critics were less about anti-Catholicism and more about having problems with people in this group because of their LGBTQ status, or at least some of the critics. The sisters I spoke to had different opinions about whether they were offended about the use of the habit, but they all agreed that the work this charity group does is really important.
So there are some people who say the group is in part mocking religion, and they view the sisters' use of Catholic imagery as offensive. Do they have an argument there?
Yeah, I think anytime you're trying to make fun of a religion, you can not be surprised if people are offended, and I do understand that. But one of the sisters I spoke to had actually had some conversations with some of the members of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, and she learned that many of them have been very hurt by the church. They've been told they're going to hell. They've been told refused funerals, perhaps, of their loved ones. And so this is partly them expressing their criticism of that aspect of the church, or a way of expressing their hurt. And this sister encouraged us to try to listen to that rather than to just fight back.
And what does this controversy say about the wider cultural conversations and people, the culture wars we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I think what's happening is then the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence and the real Catholic sisters are just becoming ammunition in this LGBTQ sort of culture war that's going on both in our culture and in our church. I thought it was really interesting to hear from these actual sisters, many of whom have long been involved in ministry in these communities and were some of the first people in the church to really be open and progressive on this issue. And so, as usual, they're leading the way by encouraging us not to engage in any sort of hate from either side.
So the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw, also called on the organization to move up an announcement to relaunch its Christian Faith and Family Day. That's an event that they held annually before the COVID pandemic. But he also told the Times that there were tentative plans in place to hold the event this year. Do you think that an event like this is going to quiet the critics?
I don't know. I'm not one of the critics, so I'm not somebody that they're aiming this at. But I do find that people who are involved in this culture war issues, especially around LGBTQ issues, will not be quieted. So there's always something, whether it's merchandise being sold at Target or what have you, that they're going to be criticizing. Certainly having respect for Christians and honoring people of all faiths is a good thing. So I encourage the Dodgers to do that.